Scotland has just passed the world's first national community wealth building legislation. So, what then should the people of Scotland notice changing in their lives and the communities over the next few years as this is implemented?
The first thing with Scotland, I think, importantly, is that there's three legs to the stool of its approach. One is there's been a movement of many people that's been arguing for community land trust, land reform, anti-gentrification. So they're all part of the movement. We've also had test beds, like in the present example, in a number of locations in local authorities. And then now we've got the legislation. What the legislation should do, because now each local authority in Scotland needs to produce a community wealth building action plan. So that means their economic development approach is going to be based on community wealth building. So they should start to see the redirecting of anchor institutions' pounds more towards local firms, the local social firms included in that. We should start to see the growth of community land trusts and community ownership of land and property within localities. We should start to see new forms of finance, be it community development finance, other forms of recirculated finance initiatives within our localities. We should see the growth of co-ops, the growth of social enterprises, the growth of employee ownership. Scotland also has an associated target, which is to triple the number of cooperatives, employee-owned firms, social enterprises by 2034. So you should see more of our economic activity being run by those ownership forms. We should see more local independence in our high street. We should see living wage, decent wage terms and conditions being more of the norm than it presently is. It's a slow burn, really, but clearly the fact that you've got a strategic plan, community wealth building plan in each locality, and then a whole range of policies and practices that flow from that across the 5 pillars, we should start to see a difference. We already are seeing significant differences, particularly around community ownership of wind energy renewables in Scotland, where there's a massive exponential growth of community-owned wind farms, which is one example. Some of the communities own the land, then they own the wind turbine, they're setting up these energy production companies. A lot of these are community-owned, or communities have a share in them, and already seeing quite significant amount of resources being recirculated back into the local community for use for a whole range of other purposes, including economic development purposes. But it's a slow burn. Scotland is a small country, still has huge levels of FDI, still has a mainstream economic development approach. But community wealth building is a large enough alternative with a large enough strategic significance to start to chip away and see more and more of our wealth and our economy being produced by and for us.